I want to go to the issue of the app. It's still around there today, Renee. A lot of people are concerned about privacy. They're playing quite a hard game on whether they will or won't adopt the app. Again, I've had another look at it. I've read more about it. I'm pretty comfortable. Anyone who walks down the street and runs into a CCTV camera or their phone generally on web searches, etc., I think betrays a lot more information than this app. But the government needs quite a number of us to pick up the app and run with it. Otherwise, it's not going to do its job. Where do you think the people are at?
I think the people they want more information. And I think they want the government to give them some assurances that the information will be stored or used, I should say, used for only this period of time. I mean, this can't be open-ended. But going back to your point, I think, things like Fitbits and those types of devices. We've seen in other countries where militaries have been told to take theirs off because just the way they can be tracked. So someone might be a little bit cautious about the app, but probably wear a Fitbit and don't realise just how much their movements are being recorded. I mean, downloading apps now day to day, what we do. I mean, there's nothing unusual about that. What the concerns are. And it's interesting that people who have raised concerns, one example is Lou O'Brien. He's a former police officer. And you always question, why does a police officer not want to download the app? And, I think police officers know sometimes that information can be used. They call it noble corruption. I'm not sure that Lou is, suggesting that could be used that way. But there's always hesitation. There's always hesitation. There's always be questions about the way that the information can be used.
Is the problem, Greg, do you think, that one of the most hapless ministers they've got in the cabinet, Stuart Robert, is the bloke that's running this? He's the guy that has had one stuff up after another, and he's supposed to be out there giving us all confidence that the back end is clear on this, that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, etc. He hasn't done a good job to date, I think, explaining and assuaging people's concerns. Is that part of the problem?
Well, not only has he, as you said, had problems in his ministerial experience and even this current portfolio, but he's also got no cut through. I mean, Barnaby, for all his faults, has enormous cut through. And when Barnaby's out there saying that, he's definitely not going to use it, saying it's going to be the worst thing that'll ever happen to Australia if everyone downloads this, then, I think that's the problem, really, that they needed someone with a lot of cut through to rebuff Barnaby's claims, and they haven't got that. I think that, their hopes of a 40% take-up, I think that's going to be really difficult to get, particularly when Barnaby Joyce has been, all over the media on many programs and channels saying that he's not going to use it.
I think if they said to people, download the app and that will get you out of your house, they'd have a dramatic uptake, but they're not there yet. Renee, I've got to ask you, big debate in the last couple of weeks about renters in Queensland. The Parliament is going to debate the relief package, let's call it, in relation to this $20 million rent package. Some landlords are still not happy. Where's it going to land, do you think?
Wow, the Queensland government handled this terribly. I mean, I think they didn't. For them, this is almost the state example of negative gearing. There are so many people here that have a rental property, and they rely on that income, whether they are doctors, police officers, nurses, as we were told during the election campaign, or retirees. The problem is that there was too many outs, and there was not enough detail about, I can't pay my rent, so I'm not going to pay you. And they're trying to mop it up now. But the problem is there's too many people who will lose income because of this. And it looks like it's too in favour of those who rent. So I think the state government has a massive problem here. Don't forget too, real estate agents will lose income because they won't be collecting income from rental properties. So this could be a potent issue during the state election campaign, because one of the measures they're looking at is that if your rental agreement expires within 6 months, then it just rolls over for another 6 months. That means some landlords could lose payments for up to 12 months.
Yeah, it is extraordinary. You do make the point, and I can't say it enough. Self-funded retirees, Renee, they don't have an option to go on Newstart. They're not eligible for Newstart. They don't have the JobKeeper option like other parts of the economy do. They are really, up shit creek without a paddle, I have to say, because they've had a hit on the share market, most of them. They've had a loss of savings in the bank, return on their savings in the bank. This was one bright light they had, at least to have income coming in from their rental properties, and that's going to be a real problem, not just Queensland, across the board. Got to leave it there. Thank you very much, Renee Valaris and Greg Brown.